You're listening to a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network. Some say we go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here. All right, welcome everyone to the OG edition of No Credentials Required. We are presented by Belly Up Sports, where you don't need to talk. Well, actually, let me start over. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of the hosts. To my right is a man who was very disappointed he was not named the act at halftime for Super Bowl 60 in February. Dustin Henry. Dustin, how are we doing tonight?
You know, I am. It was a blow to take. It was a blow to take, but I've got a pizza that I pulled hot out of the oven. We're gonna see. I'm trying to use food up in my fridge before I head out at the end of the week, so I'm getting a little creative. We're gonna see how it came out after the show when I take the entire thing to the face. How are you, sir?
I'm sorry.
I'm actually not going to eat the whole thing. I am not going to eat the whole thing. But
no, the way you said I'm going to take the entire thing to the face.
Yeah.
Hang on, I got it.
I'm an entertainer, if not anything else.
Oh, man.
And may I say, before you fill me in on how you're doing, you did a great job with the alternative play-by-play last night, even though the outcome was not what you wanted. It was fun to watch the game.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun to watch the game for you. It was not so much fun for me because I got a lot of things to. I mean, I'm still kind of. I wouldn't say hurt. I'm more hurting from the fact that I went to bed almost midnight last night because after the stream, I did a recording with Gaz, a friend of the show, for a podcast segment for today, and it was on the radio today. So we did pretty much an immediate reaction to that game, and my voice when I got done with the end of the stream, my voice was killing me. I said to my sister, I'm like, my voice hurts, my throat hurts.
Yeah.
Hold on. I knew it was going to happen. Yeah. But it was a good time. It was I had a great time in the chat. We had some good people stop by. Credhead stopped by. Had some new folks stop in. Scott stopped in on Twitter, was talking about the Jets game with me, and yeah, it was painful, but at the same time, I like that. I like to do in the somewhat real time reaction because again, I'm on Fubo, so I'm 30 to 60 seconds behind everybody else.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, but it's a good time. Got a nice audience. We got a new subscriber, even though I put him in timeout because he called me goofy and asked me why I was a Jets fan. I'm like,
I saw that guy. I was like,
and he still subscribed. And I felt bad afterwards. I'm like, I just totally put a new subscriber in timeout.
You know.
So
hey, Goofy.
Hey, Goofy, why are you a Jets fan? I'm like, I don't have to tell you anything. There's actually a short on it. Why don't you go check it out, Mr. Richard, whatever your name is. But we're going to get to everything in just a moment. We're talking about week 4 of the NFL. What else happened in the NFL other than my Jets losing on Monday night. But in the meantime, we just want to ask you kindly to follow us on social media. On Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on YouTube. Just search for No Credentials Required. You can also check out other podcasts and written articles at bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, our YouTube channel, and our host, which is Podbean. and also hit that notification bell on Twitter and on YouTube so you know when shows go live, so you know about show announcements, and you know when show clips are up, which, by the way, I am going to make a video sometime this week. I got a couple of unpacked cards, baseball cards, unopened packs for my birthday. I got a couple of them from my friend Dave, who was in the chat last night. So he stopped by today, gave me a fermenter, so I can start making my beers. Soon.
Here we go.
And I'm going to be doing a beer soon, but he gave me a fermenter absolutely for free, just out of the kindness of his heart. So thanks, David, for watching. I'm going to do a separate video. He's like, you should do a video on that. I'm like, yeah, I'll do an unpacking. I was going to do it tonight, but like I said, I want to kind of keep this show condensed because it's all about football. We're focusing on football, and these are baseball cards. So I'm going to do a separate video. Which, hey, wild cards start today. Postseason starts today. So Yankees are playing right. Our Yankees are playing right now, which I have to play as PSA. Have to play as PSA because Yankees are playing Boston. Gotta play it.
The following is a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe.
Boston.
This has been a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe.
Thank you, Wise. Friend of the show, Wise El Jefe. All right, we're gonna get to. Actually, let's go to the comment section first because we have a very active comment section tonight so far.
Oh yeah,
Desi, as always, stopping by saying "Sports Ball." Julie from Michigan saying "Hello, gentlemen." Dan Cruz from the Time to BS podcast and Seahawks sessions and BS sessions saying "Greetings, lads. I'm making homemade chicken quesadillas because Kevin annoyed me."
I did it last night, Dan, and I almost took a picture and sent them to you guys, but I didn't want to do it because it wasn't my A game. They tasted good, but they didn't, presentation wise, they didn't look good. So I was like, I only got to send the A game, but I had the same idea as you. And I was going to be like, does this beat Chili's, Kevin? Oh man, go check out the show if you don't know what we're talking about.
That was on Friday Seahawks sessions. Again, compliment from Dan saying, well done. Desi saying it was fun watching Ryan, but the result of the game was painful. Yeah, it still hurts today. Still hurts a little bit today, but hopefully by tomorrow I'll be better, especially if the Yankees win tonight because it's a 3-game series, best of 3, and it's Max Fried and Garrett Crochet tonight. So we've already had a brilliant pitching performance already today because Julie notes in the chat the Tigers won. Mm-hmm. Indeed, they did. Dizzy saying Dustin is the ultimate performer. He also said I have a chance to make him a Tide fan, so it's been a good day. And
I did say that.
I did put a little bug in Dan's ear because he says I should do that for Seahawks games. Good idea. Yeah. So Dan, you definitely want to hydrate and get some throat drops because my throat was killing me. My voice was killing me afterwards. And again, I had to do an extra 45-minute recording afterwards. So I'm a little tired. My voice is a little tired, but yeah, I'm ready to talk some football tonight. I mean, I was quiet most of the day because I was off the phone. So. Oh,
that's good. That helps.
He also says, too much throat action. We're 10 minutes in. We've had 3 of those.
Yeah. And I feel bad because I kind of went into a Chris Collinsworth type laugh there. I'll try to keep that in check for the rest of the show.
Now here's a guy.
That guy on Instagram kills me. The one I've been sending you where he does that.
Which I forgot. Rate, review, comment, 5-star rating, review, leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, Podchaser. Leave a comment on Spotify, and this will be replayed on the Belly Up YouTube tomorrow at 3 p.m. So leave a comment. Tell us your biggest takeaway from Week 4 of the NFL. Who is your most disappointing performance? Who is your A performance? Who are you rooting for? And again, comment section always available. It's chime time, Dustin.
It is. It's a little late, but always on my mind. It's chime time.
Yeah. And speaking of Week 4, let's get started with our game of the year of the week. This is the segment formerly known as Most Entertaining Game, so we've renamed it Game of the Year of the Week. And Dustin, I'm going to have you start off with your Game of the Year of the Week.
Okay, and I will admit, Ryan and I are always transparent on this show. It was my mother's birthday this past weekend, so I was out doing family things. Tracy and I always get together. My sister and I, we always get together on Mom's birthday. We honor her a little bit, celebrate her. So I didn't see as much football as I wanted to, but family's more important.
Absolutely.
So I had to play some catch up. And to me, there were no games that really jumped off of the page, with the exception of the one that you picked, I feel like. But also, I would have picked a different game for this had the result been different, because I saw that game. I was thoroughly entertained by that game, although defense, that left something to be desired. But other than that, the game that I'm going to pick had a little bit of the Kaiser Soze effect that I discussed last week.
Ooh.
It had a good finish. It wasn't entertaining from start to finish, but this game, in my opinion, was an entertaining one because it was a back and forth battle. And I thought the Colts, Daniel Jones does throw some interceptions. He did throw some interceptions in this game, so it was probably his worst game as a Colt. But they were still in the game, and were it not for a play by Adonai, what are you doing? Keep the ball in your hands until you are in the end zone. That was an amazing catch, amazing play.
He pulled a Malachi Corley.
He did, or a Deshaun Jackson, if you will, as well. But keep the ball in your hand. But other than that, I felt like the Rams didn't exactly blow the Colts' doors off, which I kind of had a feeling was going to happen. And Jonathan Taylor continues now 76 yards, I think, from memory, but he had a touchdown in this game, and he ran hard. Jonathan Taylor is proving again. He's kind of saying, don't forget about me. I'm still about a top 6 back in the NFL right now, especially with the start that some other running backs have had around the league. But man, I was thoroughly entertained by this game, and say what you will, no one can stop Puka Nacua. He shredded them. And as long as Matthew Stafford's back holds up, which is a big if, the Rams are still going to be somebody to deal with. And Devontae Adams, I think, is starting to find his rhythm with Matthew Stafford. He had another catch in this one, another touchdown, another great catch. So I just enjoyed this one when I was playing catch up. Was it entertaining all the way through? No, but it had a good finish. The Colts tried to fight back. The Rams were able to hold them off. And the outcome could have been different despite Daniel Jones' 2 interceptions, were it not for that boneheaded play.
Yeah, Adonai Mitchell, I'm surprised he's still with the team. And that was a boneheaded play. I thought for sure. And yeah, it was a great pattern, great catch and run. And then he just starts to celebrate too early. Ball goes, oh no. And goes to the back of the end zone to touchback, man. And if you're a Colts fan, you were in your feelings for a while. I know one of my very good friends, that's a great friend, Joe, he's a Colts fan, and I'm pretty sure he was throwing something at his television on Sunday after he saw that play. Oh, man. Julie from Michigan saying Browns were sloppy and Lions got 10 points off their turnovers. They certainly did.
Yeah.
It's safe to say the Lions are back.
Yeah, I think they've rediscovered their mojo, although I will say Quinshon Judkins, he looks like the real deal for the Browns.
Yeah, he does. That's for sure. All right, my game of the year of the week was Eagles-Buccaneers. And I have to ask Buccaneer fans, how many cardiac events must you have experienced over the course of the month of September? Because week 1 came down to the final minute. Week 2 came down to the final seconds. Week 3 also came down to the final seconds. Now you're in week 4. And you're playing the reigning defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. You're both undefeated in coming into this game at Raymond James Stadium. And from the onset, it looked like the Eagles were going to be winning this game going away. 24-60 at the half. One of those, the first series of the game, the first drive of the game for the Buccaneers ended in a blocked punt, which was returned for a touchdown by the Eagles. And I had them in my fantasy league this week. I did not have them in my fantasy league last week when they got the 2 blocked field goals, but I had the blocked punt. So, but I still lost that my fantasy matchup. I'm now I've lost 3 in a row. Anyway, getting back to this game, and the end of the half was the half ended. The first half ended with Chase McLaughlin ending it with the longest outdoor field goal in NFL history. He had a 65-yard field goal at the end of the half. Remember, I've said in this program, a 70-yarder is coming in the regular season. I feel it coming around the corner. Mark this down. Mark this day. Remember this date. September 30th, 2025. We're going to have a 70-yard field goal sometime in the near future. And I bet the competition committee is going to meet this year, after this year, about those K-balls. I'm betting.
Yeah.
I'm betting. So we've seen more 50-yard field goals, more 60-yard field goals. It'd be good with distance. I mean, this one kind of just went slightly over the bar, but just Chase McLaughlin's got a leg.
Yeah. Yeah, and you get kickers like Brandon Aubrey, who I think right now probably has the most powerful leg in the NFL. And you're thinking to yourself, if 70 is possible with the K ball, are we going to look at 75? You know, like where does it stop?
Yeah, exactly. Second half was a different story. It was a much different story. Buccaneers used the long ball on 2 different drives in the third quarter. Baker Mayfield had 2 70-plus yard passing plays, one to Emeka Egbuka, who filled in very nicely as wide receiver 1 for Mike Evans, who did not play in this game. Yeah. And he has 72-yard running catch to Bucky Irving, which was a nice, and they got themselves back in the game with those 2 long passes. I would say Sunday was a nice, relaxing day of football. Just watching on Red Zone, watching the highlights. And like you said, Dustin, there's some games that are kind of clunkers in terms of final score. Patriots, Panthers being one of them. I will say Saints, Bills was a lot better than anticipated. I'm pretty sure you were having a little bit of agina for a while because the Saints were taking to the Bills.
I was ready. I'm always ready with the pen, Ryan. I got my gray notebook. The black notebook was retired because I filled that up. Fill that up
with ladies' numbers.
That's in a trash can somewhere far, far away. But the gray notebook,
the Sam Malone of this program
is still going. And I was getting ready to write Saints versus Bills as the biggest upset. The Bills really slept on the Saints. Yeah. With the way the Seahawks played against the Saints last week, the Bills should have blown their doors off. There's no question about that.
Yeah, but they didn't, and the Saints played them tough. And it's interesting that the Jets and the Saints are playing in Week 16, and if neither team has a win by Week 16, that's going to be called Battle of the Bags because of the bags on the heads of the people who are every fan, both in the Jets and the Saints. But that's Week 16. This is Week 4. It's a bit down the road. But coming back to this game, the Eagles struggled on offense. They had a struggle on offense in the final frame, but their defense held their ground. They got an interception in the fourth quarter, and they got a stop on down. They got a turnover on downs on a drive that looked like the Buccaneers were going to score another touchdown. Baker Mayfield doing everything in his power to get this Buccaneers team to score again, but turnover on downs, and the game ended in a safety. So the final score being 31-25, but if you look at the score line for that game, the Eagles had 200 total yards in this game. Wow. Jalen Hurts did not have his best game passing, and Saquon Barkley is still struggling to get off the ground. But Eagles are finding their way. The Eagles are finding ways to win in so many different ways, particularly on the special teams. And their defense is still elite.
Yeah. I initially thought that the Eagles, their losses on defense were going to be too much for them because their defense was starting to look leaky, but they're finding their stride. But it's also strange. This has been a strange start to the Eagles year because you could argue that offensively and defensively to start the year, but offensively they're underperforming, and it has the feel of a chaotic team. You got AJ Brown tweeting what he's tweeting. You got Devontae Smith that's not always involved. Saquon's regressed a little bit, which that was one thing I was right about. But they're still 4-0, and they still are finding ways to win games.
Ways to win. Absolutely, you find ways to win. That's what champions do. They find ways to win. And again, I gotta say, well, also before we go on to our next category, the biggest upset, we both have to apologize to the city of Baltimore. Maybe Dustin will discuss it in his biggest takeaway from week 4. But we have to both apologize to Baltimore first for our baseball preview and now our football preview, our NFL preview. Not looking great.
Yeah.
I noted that on our Twitter account the other day on Sunday about apologizing to the city of Baltimore, and Kev from Tailgate on the Quad says maybe you should pick a different animal. And I just replied back, well, we're aviary enthusiasts, Kev. Give us we love us some birds. Love me some bird law. Biggest upset of week 4. And I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go with Cowboys tying the Green Bay Packers. Not being the Green Bay Packers, tying them. Because I went to bed. When I went to bed on Sunday night, it was 13-2 in the second quarter.
Yeah.
And the 2 points didn't come on a safety. It came on a 2-point conversion, a blocked 2-point conversion, a blocked PAT by the Cowboys. I got run back for a 2-point play because I had to look it up to see what they did. But when I went to bed, it was 13-2. When I went to my local deli sandwich guy in the morning when I get my early workout in, I looked at the app and I saw 40-40 tie. I'm going, what? What happened? Here's what happened. Business picked up in the fourth quarter. Shout out to Jim Ross. And like the Giants game a couple weeks ago, the Cowboys and the Packers exchanged leads 4 times in the fourth quarter. And Brandon McManus tying the game with 37 at the end of regulation. Go to overtime. They kick field goals. And the Cowboys look like they're going to score the game-winning touchdown, to which I say to Brian Schottenheimer, why aren't you kicking the field goal? Could have won this game with a field goal.
Yeah.
Nope, we're going to go for the touchdown. Well, I think they had to score a touchdown to win the game, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the change. I
think you had to score a touchdown, if I'm not mistaken. We'll double check. We'll do some real-time research. But they kick field goals because you can't end the game. You can't end overtime on a field goal anymore. Because if you kick a field goal, the other team gets possession. The only time it doesn't apply is in the playoffs. It does apply in the playoffs. I'm sorry. But Cowboys are trying to drive for a touchdown. If I'm not mistaken, they had to score a touchdown. But if they didn't, why aren't you kicking a field goal, Brian Schottenheimer? But I thought this was going to end Micah Parsons' vengeance arc. He waited until the final play of the game to complete his vengeance arc because his sack ended the game. And teams tied up at 40. Jordan Love, as predicted, became Toyotathon Jordan Love, 337 yards and 3 touchdowns. To which I conclude here at the end of this, we really need to find a way to eliminate ties in the National Football League. But that's a subject for another day.
Yeah, I'm doing some real-time research right now, and I'm looking if the score is tied after each team has had its opportunity to possess the ball. The team that scores next by any method is the winner.
Okay. Yeah. Why not kick a field goal? Why are you trying to go for a touchdown? It's not a points differential thing. Like the NFL doesn't really do points differential.
Yeah, I thought I was under the impression that you were, Ryan, but I'm looking at it right now per operations.nfl.com. This last sentence, well, it says after each team has had the opportunity to possess the ball, If one team has more points than its opponent, it's the winner. Thanks for that. If the team that possesses the ball first does not score on its initial possession, or if the score is tied after each team has had its opportunity to possess the ball, the team that scores next by any method is the winner. So Brian Schottenheimer, he dropped the ball on that one.
Literally and figuratively speaking. Desi checking in and saying, I agree with the elimination of ties in the NFL.
Yeah.
I don't want them to do what they do in college football. Here's what they do in college football, Dustin. And this has changed because they eliminated ties in the 1990s, I want to say. And they started doing overtime in NCAA in Division 1A or FBS in the late 90s, where they went to overtime. And it would just basically go back and forth, and whoever scored last won. There was a game in the 2010s between LSU and Texas A&M that the final score wound up being 74-72. It was tied at 37 at the end of regulation. But those rules were, back then, if you score a touchdown, you can go for the extra point. After the second overtime, you have to go for 2. But they modified it again 2 or 3 seasons ago. And now if the team scored touchdowns or they exchange field goals after the first 2 overtimes, the rest of the way they just do 2-point conversions. Which is silly. Because a couple years ago, Illinois and Penn State played a sloppy contest in State College, and the final score wound up being like 18-16. In 8 overtimes, like 18-16 and 8 overtimes.
Yeah.
What the hell happened?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
They exchanged. Neither team scored in the first 2 overtimes. Then it went to 2-point conversions, and Illinois got more 2-point conversions than Penn State, and Illinois won that game. It's silly. It's just so silly.
That is silly. I mean, but we gotta figure out a way to prevent the ties. Let's put our head together, because the ties, like I said, I would have picked this game had it not been, because I was doing the same thing. You ever do the thing, Ryan, where you're watching? I'm like, all right, I didn't see most of the games today. I'm watching Sunday Night Football. I sit down and I'm like, this game is a clunker. So I'm like scrolling on my phone. I'm kind of like half paying attention, taking notes. Mm-hmm. Next thing I know, the teams start scoring back and forth. Say nothing of the defenses. The Packers defense should be a big disappointment because they're supposed to be good. They couldn't stop a Dallas Cowboy team worth a darn. Okay. This was, man, both these defenses. I mean, we know the Cowboys defense is bad, with apologies to you, Coach Flus. Don't think I forgot. But this tie made it so anticlimactic. Neither team is happy with this.
Nope. Absolutely not. Because for Green Bay, they're now half a game back of Detroit for first in the NFC North. And the Cowboys, the Cowboys are who the Cowboys are. And they play my New York Jets next week. So and MetLife will be filled with 65 to 70% Cowboys fans. So great job, Jets. Being 0-4.
Oh, man.
Desi continuing, it's like penalty kicks in soccer. It can be 0-0 and one team makes more penalty kicks and wins 1-0. Yeah, that's basically what it is in the NCAA. But this is the NFL. But Dustin, who is your biggest upset from week 4?
My biggest upset for me, it's got to be one game. The New York Giants beating the LA Chargers. Man,
you can say San Diego.
Say
San Diego.
I really keep screwing that up this year. But the Giants beating the 3-0 Chargers. The Chargers downed some big opponents this year, and it's why they're in the driver's seat still. I know a lot of Chiefs fans are going to come out of the woodwork and say our team has found its mojo. We will see. I think the Chargers will have something to say about that, as Ryan predicted. But it's weird because if you look at the stats to this game, and like I said, I had to play catch up this week, but I did see a lot of this game. Jackson Dart, there is no denying he brought a spark to this Giants team, primarily through his legs. He had 111 yards, 13 for 20, and a TD. He did not throw a pick, but his legs are what really brought brought a spark to the Giants, I think. I mean, there was one play on a third down that the Giants needed. Jackson Dart ran forward, got absolutely clobbered, and then his second effort was what got him the conversion. I mean, if I'm the Giants, you got to figure out a better way to prevent Jackson Dart from taking these hits, because I mean, some of these were big. But man, what an upset. And that's after you lose Malik Neighbors, your biggest threat at receiver. There were other people that stepped up. Wandell Robinson. He's been quietly having a good year. And I think Cam Scatabo also brought a new dimension. You don't want to see Tyrone Tracy go out the way that he did. And it's weird because the Chargers were able to sack Jackson Dart 6 times, but it wasn't enough. He still ran for 54 yards, and the Giants defense, indisputably the strong point of this team.
Absolutely.
They were able to get in Justin Herbert's face and kind of fluster him. It wasn't a dominant performance by then because, they only got to him 2 times, but they did pick him off. They were opportunistic. Yep. They picked him off. Dexter Lawrence picked him off and almost ran it back for a touchdown.
A thick 6. We almost had a thick 6.
Yeah. And then the other thing was the other sack. The Chargers were driving to try to tie this game, and Brian Burns, Spider-Man, went out there and got a huge sack on Justin Herbert. Herbert lost 16 yards on the play, so that was big. And I mean, Omarion Hampton, he was able to run all over the Giants a little bit, although a lot of his yards came on 2 long plays, but we're going to get to him later. But the Giants, what a game by them, and props to them for not just giving up and throwing in they played with passion, and they stunned a Chargers team whose defense I still think is good, and they really had a chance to go up 4-0 and be undefeated. Shout out to the Giants for coming up with a big win, but find a way to protect Jackson Dart a little bit, and also talk to him about you love his drive, you love his passion, and his willingness to put his body on the line. But we don't need these injuries. I heard some of those hits; they were big ones.
Yeah. And Connor Hughes was noting on Twitter that Brian Dable said that Jackson Dart was the last to leave the locker room because everything was after the adrenaline wore off.
Yeah,
he was definitely moving around slower than he did in the locker room. By the way, we've got one of our OGs in the chat. We got to shout out our tribal chief.
The following is a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe,
Boston.
This has been a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe.
That's right. Our tribal chief is in the chat. Says, hello, gentlemen. I arrived at the right time. And talking about my Giants, and he's going off in the chat about his Giants. And I just noticed the score for the Yankees is 1-0, top 5.
Yeah.
And Max Fried's having a good day. And he says my boy needs to learn how to slide.
Yes, he does.
And we mentioned F Boston. He says even more tonight. Absolutely, for the next 3 games. Absolutely. And Desi saying, "Hey, Wise," in the chat.
And I know Russ has been benched, but he can teach Jackson Dart how to slide.
Yes, right, because he played baseball.
Yep.
I think he retired as a Yankee. All right, we're gonna get to before we go to our commercial break, our biggest disappointments from this week in the NFL. I've got 2. I got 2 of them. Actually, no, you lead off. I let off last segment. You lead off. My bad. I got 2 of them, but I'll let you go first.
All right. So my biggest disappointment is it's got to be, and I felt bad. I did not want to pile on. Okay, I originally had somebody else picked for this, but he has an injury. Who knows if he got injured during the game? But I have to talk about Geno Smith, and this is not trying to gloat about the fact that Geno is no longer in Seattle and Sam Darnold has gotten off to the start that he's got. I still love Geno. They wrote me off, but I ain't right back though is still one of the best quotes I love what he did for the Seahawks. He racked up a lot of yards for a few years. But the Achilles heel for Geno Smith, even the new and improved Geno Smith, has always been interceptions, particularly in the red zone. I was very vocal about that last year, and it cost the Seahawks a shot at the division last year because he threw multiple red zone interceptions against the Rams. And moving and reuniting with Pete Carroll in Vegas, I had high hopes that the Raiders would at least be competitive in games because I said, mark my words, Geno's going to provide better quarterback play than they've had in a while there. But so far it hasn't happened. Geno, for the second week in a row, he threw 3 interceptions, and those interceptions cost the Raiders the game. They were up in this game. They were competitive in this game, but you can't throw 3 picks by your quarterback and expect to win the game. And Geno threw 3 picks last week against the Commanders. So this is a bad pattern. He's got to shake those interception issues. And the thing is, I think he's got something like, and I'll have to look this up to double check, but through 4 games, he's got 8 picks. It's not good. It's not good, Geno. I thought you would be better in Las Vegas. I made a big deal of saying it. I was disappointed when the Seahawks jettisoned you and allowed you to walk. And I thought reuniting with Pete Carroll, you'd be good to go. But this has not been the start that Geno wanted.
No, and this is not the start the Raiders wanted out of him either, because he's supposed to be a veteran presence. He's supposed to be, I don't know if you want to say a bridge quarterback.
Yeah.
Because they have Aiden O'Connell and they have Kenny Pickett.
Oh, I forgot about Pickett.
They traded with the Browns for him. So I got 2 disappointments here. My first one is with Robert Saleh, former New York Jets head coach, now back as DC of the San Francisco 49ers, which I got to say, didn't he learn anything about providing bulletin board material to your opponents or to the media? Because he did this in New York with the whole I got receipts conversation with the media. And then he provides some bulletin board material to the Jaguars this week by alleging that the Jaguars were legally stealing signs during their games. And this was before the Niners played the Jaguars. And the Jaguars were my upset pick this week in our Cut the Breaks Pick'em Challenge, which we'll get to in momentarily. But I had the Jaguars win this game. The Jaguars did their job. They forced 4 turnovers out of the 49ers in this game. But it was after the game that Liam Cohen, remember this guy? Duval. Yeah, that guy and Saleh were having an exchange of words after the game, to the point where Robert Saleh allegedly said he was going to unalive Cohen.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, Robert Saleh, can we just cut down the rhetoric, dude? Like, providing bulletin board material to not only the media, but also to your opponent. It's not a good look, especially when this 49ers team is banged up.
Yeah.
Lost another guy. Jawan Jennings went down in this game too. So the 49ers are already thin at pretty much every single position. And you're providing words to your opponents, getting them fired up for the next game. It's not helping your team. And now they are no longer undefeated, and they lost to a Jacksonville Jaguars team who is, are they good? The Jaguars good?
I don't know. I still
don't know either.
They feel very mercurial to me. I know I always use that word associated with that team, but you can't get a feeling on them. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence, you don't know what to make.
No, you don't know what to make. But I will say that Travis Etienne had a great game. He had over 100 yards rushing in that game against the 49ers. So congratulations to them. My second disappointment is the NFL itself. And they announced on Sunday night that the Super Bowl halftime act for Super Bowl 60 is going to be Bad Bunny. Yeah.
It doesn't move the needle for me, but I'm not a demographic that they're concerned with.
No, and I know that this is. I'm not trying to figure out who runs the halftime show. I know Pepsi's a sponsor, but I saw on social media that Jay-Z and Rockefeller Records, his label, like they run, like they decide who the halftime show is going to be. I don't know facts for sure, but we've had the last couple of years, we've had primarily hip hop acts. I got nothing wrong. I have nothing wrong with it. All right. I have nothing wrong with the selection. I don't want to be putting that meme with all the other white dudes with sunglasses on saying, this is a terrible idea to have Brad Bunny as the halftime act. All right, that's fine. I've only heard one of his songs. It was played during his the main event at WWE Backlash Puerto Rico 2 years ago, I think it was. And the crowd went nuts. And it's a banger of a tune, I'll admit. I forgot the name of the tune, but it's a good tune. But this was a layup for the NFL because there's one artist in particular from the Bay Area you could have gotten for Super Bowl 60, Metallica.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I looked at their website to see if they were touring in February. They're not February in tour. They're not touring in February. Okay.
That was awesome. They're not February. They're not
February.
We are going to start using that. I don't know in what context, but we're making it happen.
Yes, we're going to use that for every team who does not go to the Super Bowl this year. They're not February.
Yeah, there we go.
But this is the NFL. I mean, I don't get it. They're dropping the ball. They're alienating a section of their audience because they're going for the popular artist. And yes, Bad Bunny is a popular artist. From what I understand, he is the most downloaded artist on Spotify in the entire world. More downloads than Beyonce. Wow. More downloads than Taylor Swift. And I know you're going for that, but like this is an alienation of an entire section of their audience because they want the popularity. And I can't wait for when Nashville gets to host the Super Bowl. And I think probably the next decade, because a new stadium's being built in Tennessee, in Nashville, to replace Nissan Stadium, which I guess is a trash heap. But a new stadium's being built. I'm pretty sure they're going to get awarded a Super Bowl. And there's going to be rumors of a country artist, but it's going to be Beyonce. My goodness. But yeah, I think the NFL dropped the ball on the entertainment aspect of the Super Bowl. My humblest opinion. Again, I have nothing wrong with it. You pick who you want. It's a popular artist of the day, but
hey, I'm hoping he crushes it out there, and hopefully he'll turn me into a fan after the Super Bowl performance, or maybe before, because curiosity will be like, all right, let me check more of his music out before I express an opinion. But I'll say this, Ryan, I'm going to sound like a fossil, but I miss the medley performances. I like when they get a whole bunch of artists who wouldn't normally be together and they bring them out. Mine goes back to Britney Spears, Aerosmith, Justin Timberlake. I forget who else was there, but it was like an odd mix, and I kind of like that when they just take a bunch of people and mash them together and go, oh, will this work?
Yeah, exactly. Got some more comments in the chat before we go to commercial break. Wonko the Sane jumping in the chat saying, my biggest disappointment is that the Bengals are bad. Yeah. Not a quarterback away, but seriously bad. It's bad out here. At least you got the Reds. Yeah. Congratulations to them. Mets are terrible.
and I don't get to crow because I'm going to have to eat some later in the show. But man, the Reds did make the playoffs.
Yeah. He also says, never forgive PepsiCo for what they did to Pizza Hut. Yeah, I also aged out of knowing who Mr. Bunny is. And apparently Dan just cut that clip of me buffering when I said Februarying instead of touring in February. So thanks, Dan, I think.
Oh, man.
All right. We're going to get to our lone commercial break, our network mandated commercial break. Right here, and that is Fanatics. Yes, Fanatics. Being a fan isn't just about game day, it's about every day. And at Fanatics, we've got the gear to rep your team and the memorabilia to make it unforgettable. From jerseys to limited edition collectibles, from the stands to your shelf, it's all here. Fan gear, fan moments, Fanatics. Our link is in the description. It's our affiliate link. You can order your merch on Fanatics through, and you help out our show just a little bit because we make a little bit of money back from every sale of your merchandise, whether it be NFL, NCAA. I'm pretty sure there's going to be an Alabama shirt in your future from Desi, Dustin. NHL puck drop next week. By the way, super show for Belly Up Sports Hockey on Sunday night. NBA, other sports like NASCAR, MLS, anything that's sports related, you can find it at Fanatics. Our affiliate link is in the description on both the YouTube, Facebook, and on podcast side. Please use our link, order some gear because it helps out our show just a little bit more. And more comments in the comments section. Dizzy saying, Ryan, you picked Bama over Georgia, so you are my new favorite person. I'm just sorry Penn State couldn't pull off the win. Yeah, me too. It's a tough game against Oregon. But it's a good game though. It's a good game though. But I wish they would have. They almost pulled it out. And James Franklin, I don't know what you're doing, man. He's 2-21 against teams in the top 6. So, yeah. And Dan just sent it to me. So hip hip hooray! I can't wait to see this. Wonko saying, fellow Fairweather Reds fans, use Fanatics. Yes, use the link in the description. Use our link. It's our affiliate link because they don't allow us to give promo code. Get promo codes.
I might be using that link because I saw a jacket. That's a very awesome looking Seahawk jacket, a throwback, but it's a little bit of cheddar, and I'm kind of like, should I justify this? But oh man, it's looking tasty.
I'll have to look for myself because I'm not gonna get any Jets gear for the moment. I'm all Jets geared out, but there may be some New York Yankees or New Jersey Devils gear in my future. So
yeah, you got to get that black jersey. It's the last year of it, right?
That's right. It is. I'm gonna have to get it somehow, or somehow. I'm good thing to use that affiliate link for it. All right. Moving on to the rest of week 4, the most notable individual or team performances of this week. I'm going to add in a little category here. So I got my team performance and individual performance. Team performance, it's these guys. Duval. Defense. Their defense forced 4 turnovers, sacked Brock Purdy once, and limited run CMC to 49 yards rushing in their win over the San Francisco 49ers in Santa Clara. They currently lead the league with 13 turnovers. They have a plus 11 turnover ratio right now. It's incredible. They're playing incredible ball right now. Like I said, I had to ask the question, are the Jaguars good? Right now, I would have to say yes.
Yeah, I mean, with a defense like that, which this is my fault. I didn't realize it was quite that dominant. And also, but I have noticed the running game. You know, if the Yankees heard you to surge into the playoffs, they must have heard the Jags. Trevor Etienne specifically must have heard me, or Travis Etienne. Apologies, must have heard me specifically when I said I didn't know if he'd be on the team. Because he is running the heck out of the ball for the Jags right now. Between him and their defense and then Bashal Tootin, they got some things going.
Yep. And my most notable individual performance, and what a nice bounce back performance for this guy, Michael Penix Jr., 20-26, 313 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns, quarterback rating of 126 in that win over Washington at home. After a terrible week against the Carolina Panthers, they bounced back and they get a nice win over a Commanders team that's been kind of disappointing so far this year, to be honest. So, but yeah, nice bounce back performance from Michael Penix Jr. with 2 passing touchdowns, very efficient passing percentage, 20-26. It's let me do the math right here. Real-time math, folks.
Real-time math. Ryan and I have never been that great at math.
77% completion rating.
That's pretty darn good.
Well, I mean, 76.9, but rounded off 77%. So accurate, a very efficient day for one Michael Penix Jr. Dustin, your most notable performance, either team or individual.
All right. Well, anybody that's been watching the show for a long time, specifically my tenure on it, you're going to say, are you back on your BS? I'm going to say, yes, I am. I'm picking 2 running backs for my most notable performance. I love the running back position, and 2 rookies to be fair, running backs. They did a great job this week. Omarion Hampton, did a lot of his yards come on 2 big plays? Yes, but he still did it against a stout Giants defense. Again, remember, the Giants defense is the plus on this team. They are the class of this team. And he ran all over them for 128 yards and a touchdown. Okay, Omarion Hampton, he has seized the role since Najee Harris left with that terrible injury. His season is over. Omarion Hampton has the full grip on the role now. He's looked every bit the starter that he was projected to be in this game. And the next one, as disappointing as Geno has been, the Raiders were getting raked over the coals for taking Ashton Jeanty as high as they did, specifically because their offensive line has not been good, and people were saying he was a wasted pick. People were already starting to call Ashton Jeanty a bust. When some factors are outside of his control, how you can call somebody a bust 3.5 games into their NFL career, 3-4 games into their NFL career is beside the point with me. Well, he showed why the Raiders wanted to draft him, specifically Pete Carroll. We know this is a Pete Carroll type pick. But Ashton Jeanty this week, he looked very good. 138 yards for a touchdown. So maybe he started to find his footing, and his Michael Myers stance was back in this game. So that was nice to see. He got those 138 yards on 14 carries. I'm not going to sit here and do the math, but the average is pretty good on that. So those are my guys. I'm back on my BS. Running backs, baby.
Yeah, Ashton Jeanty, almost 10 yards a carry. So
yeah.
Now, by Michael Myers, do you mean like Halloween Michael Myers or Austin Powers Michael Myers?
Oh man,
yeah, baby.
Yeah,
let's get an element for that.
Yeah.
All right, our biggest individual takeaways from Week 4. Go ahead, Dustin. What was your biggest takeaway from Week 4?
All right, with apologies to the city of Baltimore.
Yes, we're sorry.
But I have to ask. I know it's partially my fault because I picked them to win the big game this year. I picked them to win the Super Bowl. But also, how much time are we gonna let pass until we start putting fault at the feet of John Harbaugh? Is John Harbaugh on the hot seat in Baltimore? Because I think he should be. Okay. He has been the coach there for 17 seasons. Since 2008, and in the NFL, that may as well be 100 years. He's been there forever. He's done a lot of winning there. He won Super Bowl 47, but guess when that was? That was 2013. He's taken the team to 4 AFC championships games, but he's only won one of them. He's won 6 AFC North championships. That usually means that you at least have a chance at playing a home game for the playoffs. But 2013 was 12 years ago, and it's starting to feel like to me that there is a pattern emerging of John either making baffling decisions in the postseason or not having his team ready for big games. This week's loss to the Chiefs is just another example. They need to get back on track, and they laid an egg against the Chiefs. That's exactly what happened. With the talent that this team has, specifically Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers. He has hit or miss games, but he's a great receiver at times. They have the tight ends. They have Likely. Their whole team for years has been a defensive identity. They don't have a defense this year. Their defense has looked bad, but how much of this do we put at John Harbaugh? I go back to the playoff game last year against the Chiefs. They were in the AFC Championship game, and they bafflingly switched their offensive game plan and got away from what took them there. They were a running team last year between Derrick Henry and Lamar, and Derrick Henry was running well early in that game. And then inexplicably, they just started trying to throw it all over the place. That's not who this Ravens team is. And John Harbaugh, it just every once in a while, and they lost to the Raiders last year. They had no business blowing that game to the Raiders. It happens sometimes, but with John Harbaugh, it just seems like he makes these weird decisions in the playoffs. And I get that they lost to the Patriots earlier in his tenure. And like I said, he's done a lot of winning. He has one of the higher playoff winning percentages if you add in all of his stops throughout his career. But he's been in Baltimore for a long time now. And this is a what have you done for me lately league. And some of John Harbaugh's decision-making in big games, you're starting to go, what's going on? What's going on with you?
So what you're saying is, Dustin, Baltimore Ravens fans are
disappointed.
Yes.
We've got to play that after the biggest
for my part in it. But John Harbaugh, people need to start taking a look. 2013 is a long time ago.
I mean, granted, they're also dealing with a lot of injuries, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But yeah,
they are
definitely John Harbaugh should take some of the blame for what's transpiring this season. You're definitely right in that regard. My biggest individual takeaway from Week 4. MetLife Stadium is cursed. I wrote this on Sunday after we got the news that Malik Neighbors became the latest player in the NFL to suffer a season-ending injury at MetLife Stadium. I mean, Giants fans should be elated that they won a game, but the football gods demanded a sacrifice. Shout out to Urinating Tree. And Malik Neighbors happened to be that sacrifice. And Giants fans should be elated, but they can't be because Neighbors, who is a potential league superstar, is done for the season. And it's because of that lousy turf at MetLife with these non-contact injuries that all these players are being lost to. And according to some research I found at as.com, that's the website, as.com, in an article written in 2023, and we were missing some people, and we were missing some folks from this list. But 18, now 19 players have had their seasons end prematurely over the last 6 seasons because of the turf at MetLife Stadium. Excuse me. I'm holding back a sneeze. Excuse me. That probably looked weird on television. But yes, we've had 18, 19 players had their seasons ended prematurely over the last 6 seasons at that stadium. This includes such players as Saquon Barkley, Joey Bosa, Solomon Thomas, and those 3 were from 2020 alone. 2023, Aaron Rodgers. 2023 also, Jalen Phillips for the Miami Dolphins. Now we can add Malik Neighbors to that list. And players are losing a year of their careers because of these lousy artificial surfaces, especially at MetLife Stadium. What's it going to take for the NFL to get it to their skulls that artificial turf, like this one at MetLife Stadium, does more harm than good? And I know it looks good on television. It's a less expensive alternative to natural turf. Now, apparently, for the World Cup next year, MetLife will host the final, the grand final, the championship match for the FIFA World Cup next year. The state of New Jersey is footing the bill for natural grass. $13 million.
Wow.
Excuse me, $13 million so they can put in natural grass and make it look good on television and have the players play, have the soccer players not play on an artificial surface. Why aren't the Johnsons or the Maras, who have a say in what goes on at this stadium, Why aren't they footing the bill for this natural grass for their football teams? And for a league that makes billions upon billions of dollars, you can't put in a natural grass alternative or a hybrid system like some of these other teams do, where they have less injury than what you have at MetLife Stadium. Can't spend a couple $1 billion from the billions of dollars you already make. And it's really, and what's really mind-boggling is that the Players Association hasn't provided much more pushback than usual. I mean, after this game, I'm hoping that somebody from the NFLPA is going to speak up, whether it be a player representative or one of the executives, and say, look, NFL players are losing a year of their playing careers. And the NFL, the average career in the NFL, the average playing career in the NFL is short. There's a reason NFL does stand for not for long. Remember, it does. That's the abbreviation. No Fun League, National Football League, not for long. Average career is 2 to 3 seasons, and you're already losing a year, a season, one season because of a non-contact injury due to this lousy turf at MetLife Stadium that is taking the turf monster. This turf monster has taken more souls at MetLife Stadium than probably any other stadium in the National Football League. And that's not hyperbole. 19 players losing a season of their careers because of that turf. And there's got to be some sort of alternative. There's got to be some sort of compromise the league and the NFLPA can come to, either the next CBA or the next year, where the league can mandate natural turf surfaces. Phoenix, Glendale, State Farm Stadium, it's a dome stadium. It's a retractable roof stadium.
Mm-hmm.
You've got natural turf that can swap in and out. Like, why can't we do this for all the other teams in the league? I hate this from Malik Neighbors because he's such a talented player.
Yeah.
Not to mention he's on my fantasy football team, but that's
one of mine too.
Point. That's besides the point, in that players are losing a year of their careers because teams don't want to pony up money, or the municipalities don't want to pony up the money to put in natural turf.
Yeah. Yeah, and the tough thing is too, then it indirectly it comes back on the player. The player, it takes so long for them to rehab. It takes so long for them to get back, and then teams are hesitant because they're saying, "Oh, well, he's recovering from an ACL. It's going to be, will he be the same? Will, it causes teams to question the player."
It does. And what we saw last night in the game between the Dolphins and the Jets, that gruesome injury that Tyreek Hill suffered, that was on natural turf, and that was just a freak. That was just a freak incident, which again, I'm not a Dolphins fan, but I always feel for a player who suffers a catastrophic injury like that. But again, natural turf compared to artificial turf, especially at MetLife Stadium, which is already an air conditioner, already looks ugly aesthetically, and now players are having their careers taken away because you're too cheap to put in natural grass surfaces or create some sort of system or create some sort of get grass that's more conducive to the area that you live in. I wrote an article about this a couple of years ago on Belly Up Sports. I might post it somewhere, either on our Twitter or Facebook or my personal Twitter channel, about what happened with the Aaron Rodgers injury a couple of years ago. Because it's unfair that these players have to suffer a catastrophic injury. And when we talk about player safety all the time in the NFL, we talk about head injuries. What about non-contact injuries that take away a year of players' careers? There has to be some sort of compromise where they meet in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, now to wrap up the show, we got 2 segments left. Let's go with a lighter topic here. Let's talk about our Cut the Brakes Pick'em Challenge.
Because I cut the brakes! Wild card, bitches! Yeah! What?
All right. last week we revealed our picks on Saturday, and Dustin nailed. He was the first one to nail all three of his picks, so he gets the bonus point for his upset pick, which was the Bears over the Raiders. Also hit the Broncos and the Bills pick. I got the extra point for the Jaguars pick. I got my Lions pick. I did not get my spite pick, the Raiders to beat the Bears, thanks to a blocked field goal and Geno Smith throwing 3 interceptions. So
Yeah.
if I do the math correctly, I believe it's now down to a 1-point lead for me.
Oh, man.
So I've got 10, and Dustin got 4 this week. So the score is now 10-9.
Oh, man.
I'm only winning by a point. So week 5 is coming around the corner. You'll find out what our picks are on Saturday. So this is the current update. I'm currently up 10-9. I know, Dustin, you were saying that you're going to blow me out of the water. You're going to blow me out of the water. No, it could change from week to week, and this was that week that brought you closer. So
it did bring me closer, but
yeah.
I still, man, if I had to go on odds, I didn't give you the nickname Rystradamus for nothing. So we'll see how it pans out.
Yeah, so that's the Cut the Breaks Pick'em Challenge for week 4.
Just a cut the brakes! Wild card, bitches! Yeah!
All right, we're going to wrap up the show with our favorite athletes to wear the number 70. And I'm going to lead off here.
Yeah.
My favorite number 70, I guess I would say it's a quasi-Homer alert. But I went with Leonard Marshall, who was most notably played for the New York Giants during their Big Blue defense plays, but also played a season with the New York Jets, and he wrapped up his career in 1994 with the Washington Redskins. 2-time Pro Bowler, 2-time Super Bowl champ in 1986 and 1990, drafted out of LSU in the second round of the 1983 draft. Was part of that Bill Parcells, Bill Belichick defense in the 1980s into the 1990s. Career stats wise, he finished with 83.5 sacks, 714 tackles, and yeah, again, Pro Bowler, 2-time Super Bowl champ, key contributor to that defense. The most notable play that comes to mind was during the 1990 NFC Championship game, which I consider one of the greatest NFL games of all time. And I don't know if you, Dustin, I'm not sure if you were. I don't think you said you weren't really paying attention to football until you were in college, right?
Well, it was a little bit before college, but I didn't start really paying attention to football until about 97, 98, which would put me in junior high.
Okay. But you want to Google this highlight later. The 1990 NFC Championship game between the 49ers and the Giants. And every Giants fan and every 49ers fan, for that matter, will remember this play in I believe it was the third quarter, where Joe Montana's going back to pass, and he gets flushed out of the pocket. Lawrence Taylor is pretty much parallel to him. Mm-hmm. He's trying to get to Montana. Montana stops in his tracks. He's getting ready to release the ball, and Leonard Marshall comes right behind him and just absolutely drives him into the ground. And Montana's out. Concussion, busted up elbow, causes a fumble, which the 49ers actually recover. But that play alone stands out in my mind as probably the play of the game, because it changed the fortunes of both teams. And I don't know if your Uncle Al's in the chat, maybe he'll correct me, but any Giants fan, every 49ers fan, all remember that play that Leonard Marshall made in the 1990 NFC Championship, which the Giants wound up winning on a game-winning field goal by Matt Barr. 2 weeks later, they go to Super Bowl 25 in Tampa and play again what is arguably the greatest Super Bowl of all time against the Buffalo Bills, and they won by 20. They won by 20-19 on with the infamous wide right for Scott Norwood. But he's my favorite number 70 because, again, he played for the Jets in 1993. Part of that star-studded lineup featuring Boomer Esiason, Ronnie Lott, Johnny Johnson, who did not finish very well, to say the least. But Leonard Marshall, he should be in the Hall of Fame. 83.5 sacks career-wise. Yeah. Two-time Super Bowl champ. He should definitely be in the Hall of Fame. I know he's in the Giants Ring of Honor, but he should definitely be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Someday he'll get there. Yeah. That's my favorite number 70. Dustin, who's your favorite number 70?
Well, for me, it is a homer alert, and I'm going to have to...
Hang on, I'll get it. It's coming. Homer alert!
And I'm gonna warn you, there's gonna be some other homer alerts throughout the 70s. I know you know what a couple of them are, but this one here, I had to go deep into the recesses of my mind, and I did mention that I only really started paying attention to football. I had watched it on and off a little bit in the early and mid 90s, but I really didn't start paying attention till about 97, 98, 99, 2000. The Madden football games got me in. And this is a person that I still remember from those late 90s / the very early 2000s, the Mike Holmgren Seahawk era, the very beginning of it, as a matter of fact. Michael Sinclair, defensive end. He's got 73 career sacks himself. And he's also a 3-time Pro Bowler. He wore number 70 with the Seahawks. That's what I remember. He wore 75, I think, with the Eagles when he finished up with them. But he was drafted by the Seahawks in 1992. He kind of had some injuries, which some people argue he could have been better, if he didn't have the injuries. But a successful playing career in my mind, and he's somebody that I remember from those late 90s, early 2000 Seahawk teams. And he actually won a little bit as a coach in the CFL. He went up and coached the Montreal Alouettes, I believe, on Mark Trestman's staff. And the only problem is that he did follow Mark Trestman to the Bears when he was coaching there. I think, what was that? Was that like 2014 already? Was that long ago that Mark Trestman was coaching the Bears? I think
Mark Trestman started coaching the Bears in 2011, but let's look it up just for kicks.
Yeah, something like that. All right, let me look here.
Oh, I'm looking.
But he was coach. He was a coach, and he was also let go when Mark Trestman was
2013 and 2014.
Okay, yep. So, but he did win a little bit in the CFL as a coach, and like I said, he's just somebody that I remember from those Seahawk teams where I really started watching, and I remember thinking to myself, "Oh, he's pretty good."
Yes, Michael Sinclair was a defensive line coach with my Montreal Alouettes.
There you go.
In 2009, 2010, when they won back-to-back Grey Cups, and was the assistant head coach and defensive line coach with the Saskatchewan Roughriders in 2013 when they won the Grey Cup at home. Hey, I'll have to maybe ask friend of the show, Rod Peterson, if he has some Michael Sinclair stories, because he was their play-by-play broadcaster during those Grey Cup years.
Ah, okay.
As always, Desi chiming in with her favorite numbers. Of course, from the University of Alabama. My favorite player to wear number 70 is Ryan Kelly. Started center at Alabama in the 2012 season. Won the Remington Trophy. Missed only 8 assignments in 1,012 snaps, and committed only 1 penalty in 2012. So, hey, there you go. Ryan Kelly. Wonka the Same saying, unofficial self-scoring. This is in regards to our Cut the Breaks challenge. He says, unofficial self-scoring, but my best guess is I have -5 points. No, Wonka, you don't. You don't. And he also says, thank you all. Good show, good time. Thank you for joining us, our friend.
Yeah, always great to have you.
Yeah, it's always great time to have you. We want to make a programming note here. I got stuff going on Saturday, so we're gonna pre-record Saturday's show tomorrow, and it'll be up for publishing on the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel at 10 a.m. Saturday morning. It'll also be on your podcast It'll be on your local podcast, your favorite podcast platform on early Saturday morning for your audio consumption. But we'll record tomorrow night. Dustin will not be here next Tuesday. He'll be in the mountains of Virginia.
I will.
But we should let you know. He should tell you a little bit more about his Extra Life fundraiser for a local children's facility. You go ahead and talk to the folks at home about that.
Well, I'll tell you when I won't be in the mountains of Virginia. It will be on November 8th. On November 8th, what are you doing, you might ask? I am streaming video games. I am trying to stream for 24 straight hours to raise money for sick children local to me, affiliated with the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. I am doing this as part of the Extra Life charity, and I am raising money specifically for the Bernard and Millie Duker Children's Hospital at Albany Med. This is my 8th year, I believe, 8th year doing this, and it's always a good time. And people have been very generous in the past. I always appreciate the support that I receive. If you're friends with me on Facebook, I've got a Facebook fundraiser going. I'll put up some links on Instagram or in Twitter as times get closer. And I can't believe it. We are a little bit more than a month away. It's a little crazy. Extralife.org. Search for Dustin Henry. You can donate if you see fit. And the money is 100% of your donation goes to those who need it. Extra Life does not take any out of the donation, nor does the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. So the families that need this money, it's specifically for sick children who are battling any type of illness. I started it because my mother passed away from cancer, and I thought to myself, nobody should have to go through that, least of all children. So it's one of my favorite events of the whole year. Ryan's always been very supportive. Join me on November 8th, www.twitch.tv and LDusto67. And I will be starting at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Hope to see you there.
So he won't be joining us for the Saturday show then either.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, we're gonna pre-record this week's show. Again, Extra Life. Look for Dustin Henry. Twitch.tv/LDusto67. Are you gonna do some test streams?
Yeah, I'll probably do one or two more test streams before the event. Once I return from VA, I'll do some test streams.
All right, there you go. All right, so Dustin won't be here next Tuesday. He'll be back here next Saturday though. So I'll try to find a fill-in host for Tuesday's show. Who will it be? I don't know. I haven't reached out to anybody yet. I'll figure it out. But also one more programming note. Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Eastern will be our Hockey Super Show because next Tuesday, Puck Drop is here.
I can't believe it.
I know. And tomorrow's October already, but you want to join us on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern on Belly Up Sports on their YouTube channel, Facebook, and Twitter. We're talking puck. Right now, it's I'll be hosting alongside Brent Radlinski from the 1420 Sports Podcast and friend of the show as well.
Mm-hmm.
Hoping to get another panelist. Talk about the hockey regular season. I got the rundown ready. Just waiting for Puck Drop, which is next Tuesday. So I'm ready for that. But in the meantime, we'll be back on Tuesday, live on Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. To talk about week 5 of the NFL. Hopefully I'll be in a lot better mood team-wise. But in the meantime, we're going to get out of here. And what you want to do is follow us on social media. Before we get out of here, I remind you to follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Search for No Credentials Required. Check out our other podcasts and written articles at bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast on any of these platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, our YouTube channel, and on Podbean, which is our host. And also, don't forget to hit that notification bell on Twitter and on YouTube so you know when we're live. You know when show announcements go up, and you know when video clips of our show go up as well. We're going to get out of here. We'll be back on a pre-recorded edition of No Credentials Required Saturday morning on the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel and on your favorite podcast platform. But in the meantime, we want to thank you for joining us. On this edition of No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports, we are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports for Dustin Henry. I'm Ryan McCarthy. Dustin, you have a safe trip to Virginia. Have a fun trip to Virginia.
Thank you.
We'll see you next Tuesday, but in the meantime, we'll see you. We'll be here Saturday. Pre-recorded edition of No Credentials Required. Go ahead, join us there on the Belly Up YouTube channel. Leave a comment. Leave your comments there. And in the meantime, we're going to get out of here. Have a great night. And F Boston.
Good night, everybody.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.